numbers are reported of a given year, it's reported 2 years later. So last year I reported the numbers as of 2021. And a lot of work has now been going on over the past few years. But we keep seeing the same news over and over again covered by the media. And most recently, you may have read about the 22-year-old nursing student or the 20-year-old BTech student not too far from here, or shockingly, the 13-year-old student. And according to the National Medical Commission, around 28% of undergrad medical students reported having been diagnosed with a mental health condition, and 16% of them have experienced suicidal ideation. So it continues to be a big problem. And so last year we reported 13,000 plus numbers as of 2021. And I'm really sorry to say that the number hasn't changed. A year later, that is numbers as of 2022, we're still at more than 13,000 numbers of cases all over the country, which represents around 36 per day. And what that means is before the end of this session, on average, there is going to be one student somewhere in India who's thinking of taking his or her life. When you look at the data over the last 10 years, student suicides have increased at a rate of 4% on a year-over-year basis. That compared to total suicides across all age groups and all different persons, which is at 2%. So student suicides is rising at twice the rate of overall other suicides. And of course, every life matters. And when we look at the proportion of student suicides as a proportion of total suicides across the country, it currently stands at around 8%. And that's similar at levels of other persons like farmers and unemployed people. When you look at the data by state, Maharashtra reports the highest number of cases, followed by Tamil Nadu, and third is Madhya Pradesh. And these three states together comprise of 1/3 of the total cases across the country. The states of Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand round up the top 5 states that report such cases. Incidentally, Rajasthan, which has the infamous quota coaching industry, ranks 10th across all the states. And we all know that quota is extensively covered by media. But I think what this tells us, this problem is nationwide and not just in specific cities in the country and for specific reasons. When you look at regionally, the states and union territories that make up southern India has the highest proportion of cases at 29%. But if you add Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, the proportion rises to more than half of the cases across the country. So earlier this year, we at IC3 formed a task force to tackle this issue. I'm so privileged to be able to work with leaders from the K-12 sector, from the university sector, as well as mental health experts. And they provide the strategic direction and implement our work. And I'll talk a little bit about our work later, but just a little plug-in over here. Dr. Arvinder Singh will be hosting a flavor of the Gatekeeper training session tomorrow at 5:45 p.m. for both educators and parents. So I welcome you to that session as well. Our mission for the task force is to create a safe and inclusive place for students and be able to equip both students and educators with the required tools and resources to nurture their mental well-being. And we want to approach our work quite methodically using data and research to inform building evidence-based programs to nurture the mental well-being of our students. And so we look at our work in terms of these 4 work areas. And I'll walk you through each of these areas shortly. But in terms of data and research, recently we have launched a survey and we piloted it with a few schools. But we would love for schools across the length and breadth of the nation to participate so that we can hear from more students across the country about what is their current mental well-being state and what might be certain factors that are negatively impacting them and why they might be struggling, so that that can help us build build intervention programs. In return of the survey, what we will offer the schools is a free dashboard where the schools will be able to track the mental well-being of their students and perhaps use it also as a way to track progress or the effectiveness of their own programs within the school. So we have a sign-up sheet which my colleague Ratish will be passing over. If you're a school and if you would love to participate in the survey, we would welcome you to sign up for it. And I make a plea and a request for all the schools that over here in this room to please sign up and participate in the survey. On the advocacy and awareness side, we still have a big problem around it being seen as a stigma and a taboo. There's still a lot of work to be done in order to normalize the public discourse around mental health in India. And so we conducted some pilots with 3 schools. We just saw the students from Pathways School, Gurgaon, but we also worked with students at Vasant Valley High School in Delhi and with Billabong High International School in Mumbai. And what we're doing is trying to empower students to be able to talk about these mental health themes in whatever artistic expression should they wish. And so we started with street plays. That is a very popular artistic expression here in the country. And that's another initiative which I would request schools to again participate. Our goal is to have all schools around the country be able to have their students really talk and express what their concerns are about mental health, and sort of then galvanize the movement around the country so that everyone's talking about mental health and it's not a hushed whisper conversation. We have to normalize this conversation across the whole country. On the education and training side, we have mental health experts on our task force, and so we would love to be producing programs and resources for our educators, particularly at schools. And later on, we will be looking at other educational institutions as well. But also training, particularly gatekeeper training. There's a paper that's published in the National Library of Medicine. This was published in 2019. And what that paper said was there are currently, or then in 2019, around 9,000 mental psychiatrists in India. And every year we keep adding around 700 to 1,000 psychiatrists. So let's say by now it's around 12,000, 13,000 psychiatrists. But that represents around 0.75 psychiatrists per 100,000 population. The desired number is 3, which is 4 times what we have currently. And actually, if you look at some of the high-income countries, they have 6 psychiatrists per 100,000 of their population. So anyway, there's a long way to go, but we will get there, but we can't wait. And so it is crucial that we help all the key stakeholders within every child's ecosystem and provide them with some basic gatekeeper training so that they'd be able to help students, and in case cases are severe, at least be able to identify such students and refer them to experts. It's just like how we all need to know the basics of CPR. It's my hypothesis that all of us need to know the basics of gatekeeper training. And if all these works come together, then we will hopefully be in a position to recommend policy reforms, both at the institution, state, and hopefully at the national level. So that in a nutshell is the work of the task force. And I just wanted to take this first few minutes to talk about the latest statistics that's facing us in the country and what's some of the work that the task force is on to. Now for the rest of the session, before I invite Anshu to do some activities with us, I'd like some of our creative juices or thinking juices to be flowing. It's rather early in the morning. And so I thought we would perhaps listen to a song written by a fairly famous singer and songwriter. It's a song that explores various mental health themes. And my hope is that we can listen to the lyrics and be able to identify what the song is talking about, some of the mental health themes that it covers, and we'll take it from there. There's quite a sizable audience over here. I was earlier thinking of doing it as a group activity, but I think we can just do it individually. I'll play the song. Please listen to it, and we'll show the lyrics played along with the song. And my hope is that you can recognize what are some of the rather important mental health themes that are covered in the song. Any Swiftie fans over here? Yeah, just one? Wow. Okay. Well, I have a 14-year-old daughter, so I am forced to listen to Taylor Swift songs on a daily basis. But Taylor Swift wrote a song called Forever Winter. She wrote the song in 2012. It wasn't released in any albums then. She has what's called the Vault, and she writes some songs and stores it in the Vault, and then later releases it in subsequent albums later on. And so Forever Winter is an example of such a song, which she wrote about a dear old friend that faced mental health challenges. And I presume she's the narrator of the song, where she's the caregiver to her friend. So I'm going to play the song. It's a 4-minute song. Please pay attention to the lyrics, and we'll just take it from there. Yeah? Does that sound fine? Great, thank you. Now I need to figure out how to play the song.
He says he doesn't believe anything much he hears these days. He says, why fall in love just so you can watch it go away? He spends most of his nights wishing it was how it used to be. He spends most of his flights getting pulled down by gravity. I call just checking up on him. He's up 3 a.m. pacing. He says it's not just a phase I'm in. My voice comes out begging. All this time I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better. I'll be summer sun for you forever. Forever winter if you go. He seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds. His laugh is a symphony. When the lights go out, it's hard to breathe. I pull at every thread, trying to solve the puzzles in his head. Live my life scared to death. He'll decide to leave instead. I call just checking up on him. He's up 5 a.m. wasted, long gone, not even listening. My voice comes out screaming. All this time I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better. I'll be summer sun for you forever. Forever winter if you go. If I was standing there in your apartment, I'd take the bomb in your head and disarm it. I'd say I love you even at your darkest, and please don't go. I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better. I'll be summer sun for you forever. Forever winter if you go. word she hears these days. I say, believe in one thing, I won't go away.
According to me, I think she's one of the best songwriters of our generations. And you can see how she doesn't mention the word mental health, how such powerful writing really does really express, and you can the pain, the loneliness, and the despair just by reading the lyrics. But interestingly, the music is quite upbeat, which I think she's trying to convey that even though we have challenges, there is still the light at the end of the tunnel. So just be patient, but we still need caregivers to look after us. That's what I took from the song. Would love to hear what others may have interpreted from the lyrics. Oh, well put. I think I got that as well, especially the lines where it says at 3 a.m. pacing, at 5 a.m. wasted. Says that Taylor Swift is calling her friend at all these times, perhaps constantly checking in, which is required. Very well put, ma'am. Anyone else? Yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it was expressed towards the end of the song where she's expressing that after you've gone, now I'm feeling also like I'm missing something. So it shows the interdependencies of relationships as well. So, of course, every life matters, and whoever's going through the mental health struggles, but there's still a whole support system that's also getting affected and having their own challenges. But well put, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yes, it's very hidden struggles. Some also put a facade, and they generally have these mood swings that are very swift. But yes, so a lot of these struggles are silent and hidden, and detecting them is tough. So we have to be equipped with how to approach these such. Yeah, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. take one final. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. No, I just mentioned about the stigma and taboo in the country. It's not just amongst parents. There was a cross-sectional study done amongst educators, wherein over 550 teachers in South India were interviewed, and over 70% of them believed that mental illness was just a weakness and not an illness. So I think there are a lot of key stakeholders in every child's ecosystem that needs work on to bring down the shackles of stigma and taboo. Yes, sir, and then we'll end with you, sir. Yeah. Trust deficit, we have to overcome that. We'll just end it with you, sir, and then I'll invite Anshu to take us to the rest of the session. I'm there for you. Well, thank you for ending on that note, sir. Thank you, and I welcome Anshu to take us through the rest of the session.
Let's go back. Can you help me? So, we're gonna now look at can everybody hear me? Out, so I might not have to move around. Now is number. How many are? They are majorly belonging to this. Now, I want to start with one question. Probably gone. Very, very right. A lot of us are compassionate. Actually, ties with what we need to. Over with. Are we considering what students are? We're going to start with an counselors counselors, all of us are all in this part to give. So we're going to start off by putting up. We're going to try to work on paper. Have a great day. And we have a scenario here to start with called academic pressure. I think this is something the students are taught. Influence, social media, and now students are on LinkedIn. They see each other. And I also want that profile building. Gotta make sure we have activities, knowledge, so much going on. A great example to start with. So Rahul, a high achieving high school student, struggling to keep up with the rigorous demands of advanced classes and extra. Despite spending hours every night studying, overwhelmed and constant failure. Pressure to maintain top grades or a place causing frequent. Rahul feels all of us know. I'd like us in those. Perhaps you kind of have an idea who Rahul. I would like you to just kind of put yourself in the shoes. Kind of think about what is this child thinking as you see him. As you meet him. What is this person thinking and feeling? What is going to happen? What does this person see around him? What is this person? Voices. Right, sure.
कौन है? तो कौन है? चिट।
Okay, he's seeing a sleepless night. Thank you so much. So he's seeing others achieve. Yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I should have been on this. Okay, perfect. Anybody else?
He's also seeing others' failures, and if this person didn't achieve this, and look what happened, and maybe if I could also be in the same situation, so I don't want to be.
Perfect.
And he's seeing others success also. So when he's seeing others succeeding, obviously there is a blow on his confidence.
He is seeing others around him succeeding. Yes.
Losing himself trying to be everywhere.
Sorry?
Losing himself trying to be everywhere.
Losing himself, trying to be everywhere. Okay.
We can also see people who have not achieved that much and still be happy.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because of the parents, teachers, and the peer to somebody. He must have had some dreams.
Some dreams. Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely.
He's seeing those dreams being shattered gradually.
He's seeing his dreams being shattered.
So we came up with, they see other parents being more supportive. Why can't they be my parent?
Oh, wonderful point. Yes, absolutely. The other parents seem to be more supportive. What about my parents? Yes. So they're seeing a lot of things. Yes. Could they just be seeing gloominess around them? Could they feel that everything, could they see darkness around them? Yes, they seem to see darkness all over the place. Yes, in their mind and all around them. Yes, perfect. And what kind of things would they be doing? What are they doing? Escaping. Okay, perfect.
Frozen, not doing anything.
Frozen, not doing anything. Trying to distract themselves. Absolutely. Escaping. Confrontation. Absolutely.
Getting into depression.
Yes. Giving excuses. How many of you have seen that around you? Yes. Yes, we have a lot of excuses, right? Because they don't know what they're saying anymore. Yeah, and they want to escape every situation. Yes. Looking for? Oh, dopamine fix. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I'll just end with one. Thank you so much. And I didn't really say anything. You just said it all. So all of us here, we have to consciously empathize. We have to be aware of our surroundings, yes, and it is difficult because we go through the school day with lots of things going on during our day, but can we keep our eyes and our ears open to see the children around us and what's happening with them? Every day in every single class of yours, you will find these symptoms. You will find these. You just have to look around. Every single class, yes? And if we can connect with them immediately, and we're going to go into some strategies now, we've kind of put the process ahead, right? To start the process of making sure that they're well. But the more we don't see them and the more we don't hear them, it just goes on. And then, they have also this feeling of going unnoticed. A lot of them feel that. We are unnoticed. And some of the voices they hear, doesn't anybody see what I'm going through? Nobody seems to care. But they'll never come up and tell that to you. Yeah? So it's really, really quite sad what these children are going through. And now what we're going to do, if we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so we just took one example, but in your class, and you can do this empathy mapping with your children. Absolutely, it can be in form time activity. It can be in your, with your teachers. It could be something that you do with your teachers as well. so that they can or you can put up different scenarios like we have listed here. I'm not going to read them, they're there. So that they can start also empathizing, putting themselves in the shoes of others. Yes, that's the main purpose, and that really awakens you. Now we're just going to have a discussion on some of the school strategies. Yeah, and I think we're not going to go into groups looking at the paucity of time. But I want us all to share some school strategies which maybe have worked in your school in terms of how we can detect, any child who is having such kind of mental health issues, and what do we do after. But first of all, how do we detect it? How do we prevent it? How do we support them? Yes, we all have school counselors in school, but can we think a bit beyond that? Can we think out of the box? Are there any activities that you have done which can be shared with everybody? Yes. Did you raise your hand?
Not necessarily the activities, but for example, to be every teacher aware of the situation. So if they see something unusual, to report it, to talk about it, to have the proper, having policy of child safeguarding policies at school. So what should I do as a teacher or a classroom support, if I see something unusual and irregular? So we just worked out about the policy in charge for child safeguarding, any kind of situation. So it needs to be reported first of all to the right level.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, yes, having a strong policy and making sure that we are talking to our teachers, we are talking to all our staff, to encouraging them, yes, and making sure that these things are being brought out to the right person in the school. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
An awareness program, especially for parents also,
Okay.
I think is very important. At Fazlani, what we do every year at the end of the academic year, we have our counselors, put the entire data together and see what has worked for a school, what has not. And many a times we've seen that, of course, our teachers are a part of our community. They work with us very closely, and we go hand in hand with our strategies and systems and everything that's in place. Floor-wise, counselors there. There's a lot of in-class observation happening. So we have that. But our problem at our school is our parents. They do not want to come back. They hide away. They say no. वो उसके भाई को पता चल जाएगा. Oh, this one will come to know. And so how do we make the parents understand that it's okay if your child has a problem? And so an awareness program for parents, to begin the academic year, end the academic year, so they get that summer break to think, that okay, it's fine. And then those letters, because Cambridge wants, if we want any benefits, we require, any sort of, it doesn't have to be a government hospital. It could be a private counselor, just testing them and getting the assessments done, the psychometric assessments. So they get that period that it's fine to do it. So I think awareness, parents first.
Perfect. Absolutely. Awareness is so key. Yes.
So I agree. I think parents are actually the people we are teaching. It's not the children. So with parents, what we've tried this year is we put together a focus group, which means that actually I'm meeting them tomorrow. Again, this is the third time I'm meeting them this year. They are our ambassadors for this kind of work. Anything to do with wellness, social emotional learning. The parents that we have are highly skilled at a variety of different things. Some of them are counsellors. Some of them are psychiatrists, psychologists. So on a voluntary basis, I've got about 10, 12 parents who have come forward, working with them because other parents will listen to them. They may not listen to us. But if they are able to have their informal discussions in coffee shops and stuff, that's how the message will get out. It won't always happen through a formal program from the school.
And before I continue, there's something that I wanted to ask in specific. So, how do we get these students? So we've talked about parents as well, we've talked about teachers. How do we get these students to come and talk to us? Yes, anybody has a specific?
Yeah. So in our school, we are following a program that's known as advisory. So every day, 30 minutes compulsorily, all the students, like we have divided the students and teacher. So every teacher, let's say, have 25 students. So every day, 30 minutes, we are having that session. We are calling it advisory. So like we are doing sensitizing about that no bullying should be done and all these things we are discussing with them. So the teacher is responsible to know about the kids because we have a big cohort size. We have like 160 students in grade 11 itself. So it's not possible for a single counselor or for a single teacher to know about, the entire cohort size. So we have divided like 25 students to 2 teachers. We have ratio, and throughout the year we are going through the child, what is the child suffering, this, and then talking about it. So it's like the child and teachers bond building. So the child will be confident enough to share their problem or their, what they are feeling to that teacher, because throughout the year they are building that bond. And then we have an intervention form in our school. So for example, if I feel that, okay, this child is going through something and I want to address this issue, so I'll fill an intervention form which will go to the counselor, and then the things will be taken by professionals.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask another question. I'm just trying to dig a little deeper, yes. So now let's assume you are in a biology class and you notice and you can feel and hear. What do you do at that moment? What do we do? We see a child like Rahul and we know it's there. We have, yes, our lesson plan to complete. What do we do? Anybody?
Ma'am, relatedness is important. So perhaps a story that you were similarly in that period of time, and what did you do to emerge? Did you seek help? So if you can relate to somebody and offer anonymity at the same time in the future, so you convey the message to the whole, but create an anonymous space, the student may find you separately.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So storytelling in your experiences works a lot, and you don't really have to wait till the end of the session. Like you said, be anonymous, kind of bring it into your, into your whatever you're doing. Sometimes you can relate it. You just got to be creative, even with what you're doing. Just relate it somehow and, talk to the child. Yes. How many of you in your classes, when you reach in the morning, when you meet them for the first time, I mean, of course you're meeting them every day, but do you ask them how they're doing? Yes. So very, very important. Ask them how they're doing every day, because some of them will open up to you right and then.
So in our school, we practice a golden period, a golden hour every day. So basically till primary, we have circle times wherein it is a period in the very early hours of the day wherein the class teacher, she sits in the circle time along with the students, and there is the time when she interacts through various activities which allows her to know how are the children feeling today. So it's like, how are you today? And then in the senior classes, it's again a golden period hour wherein some thought-provoking videos, some thought-provoking pictures, stories are discussed, shown, wherein again it allows the teacher to have an insight of how the children are feeling. After that, if at all she comes across something which actually needs intervention, we have a referral form for the counselors, then she fills up a referral form, and this is how we take further. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's golden hour. So thank you so much for sharing your strategy. So as an IC3 task force, and I'll pass it back to Harish as well. So we are working, and we've got to work on this together. We've got to raise the awareness. We've got to start to tell people, how do we do this empathy? How do we figure this out? Let us not leave even a single child unnoticed. So that's why this task force came together. Of course, because of the suicides, but it's mainly the mental well-being of everybody, isn't it? So that's how we started with an initiative like this play. Yes, and I mean, it seems a bit like, okay, we're asking for this play from students, but they had, I mean, for example, this play, the students themselves did the research. They themselves came up with the idea. The drama teacher just facilitated it. So there was so much learning for them. And now it's for them to make others learn. So even students can be involved in this process. Of course, does require the student counselors to be on board to make sure that their health is also taken care of. So that's just one initiative. And we have some sign-ups, which also I would like Harish to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshu. I did mention this earlier, but a few folks joined in later. But as part of the task force, we have launched a few initiatives which we would love for your schools to participate in. One is we have launched a survey to be able to hear directly from your students about their mental well-being state and what are the factors that are contributing to it, so that it can then help us design intervention programs that we can then work with your counselors to implement it in your schools. Thirdly, Anshu mentioned about plays. Well, we are open to any artistic expressions that your students would love to explore mental health themes. And so we'd love to work with your student leader councils, with your drama teachers, and the whole idea is to really galvanize a movement across the country in order to normalize the conversation around mental well-being. That needs to happen, whether it's with parents as well as students. We have to normalize the conversation, otherwise it's continuing going to be a hushed whisper conversation. And so we'd love to work with your schools on that. And third is gatekeeper training and education. We'd love to work with key stakeholders in your school, whether it's principals, counselors, teachers, other leaders, even your student council leaders could act as first-line responders to be able to identify other students that are potentially at risk. And so we have the resources to be able to provide such gatekeeper training to your staff. And so my request to you is if you would love to participate in these initiatives, we'd love for you to sign up. And there is a sign-up sheet that's going around. And if you sign up, we'll reach out to you. As part of the survey, we promise to share a dashboard of your school's results for free, which you can use for your own purposes, whether it's tracking your own students' progress or being able to test the effectiveness of your programs. And so it's the humble request of the task force to be working with all schools, and the more schools get together, then the more effective these programs will be. With that, thank you so much for participating here today. Thank you for joining us. I'll just end the session on behalf of myself and Anshu, but I'll just go back to the Taylor Swift song. We have students who are facing a forever winter, and you may not know it, but there is someone in your close circle that's probably facing challenges. So just be the forever sun for them. Keep constantly checking in them, whether it's a near dear family member or your students, and we'll take it from there. And I'm sure we can solve this problem. It is a complex and complicated problem, but we all need to work together. Thank you very much.
Perfect. We have one of them who wants to actually see the video again. Can we play it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Till when will this happen? Till when will I be ignored, neglected by society? I feel useless, worthless, as I have no meaning in the world. You see, you're my friends. Do you know what's happening to me? No, you don't. Because, frankly, neither do I. I have no purpose in this world. I don't know what to do.
You know, that's really cute and all, but nobody cares. You know, it's really embarrassing that you still don't have friends.
No one likes you.
How hard is it to make friends?
Lola.
But who are you?
What do you even get?
Wait, guys. This guy should do it.
Oh yeah!
Do it!
Breaking news. Another dead body found in the dorm. Contact with parents is not yet established, but we will keep you updated.
That can't be possible. I had a class with him just yesterday. He's my lab partner. Well, I think he's just doing it all for attention. He was my friend. I used to talk to him every day.
This is hard to process. We used to be best friends.
Who will send me the notes now?
I'm so sick and tired of you. You're spending all my money. I have no money in my account, no money in my wallet. You're embarrassing me about all my friends. I just got my house. My house is my room. You are about it. Shut up! Just shut up!
Can't you have a conversation?
Shut up! Yes, Peter.
I need to talk to you.
About what?
I failed another class.
What?
Counselor told me that
Failed?
Again? Absolute disappointment. Mom, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean to.
One chance! One more chance and you're... Ugh. Just imagine being such a disappointment. Your parents don't even love you.
Imagine being hated by your parents.
Waste of all of the effort you're
How hard is it to part from a class?
Such a
Do you think we're too hard on him? Do you think we're too hard? I mean, he came to us with this problem and we just...
Him? He's just a waste of our money. Nothing.
You're just a burden on our family.
You're just a burden on our family!
So as I said, because the opening plenary is starting, so this play will be performed live around 1 o'clock in the exhibition hall. Please listen to the announcement. They'll tell you where it's going to happen. You can watch it live, just a teaser. And as you walk out, if anybody would like to come up to me and just share their name and email. If you